KINGofOsmane versus wezy. So if you didn't read the description, first map is going to be Great Plains, second map is going to be Saguenay, and the last one, if there is a tiebreaker, will be on Mongolia. Just so you know, those are the three maps we're looking at. Great Plains was the same map that we had for the preliminaries, so guess what? You get to see more Great Plains gameplay, I guess. Yay! Alright, so what do we got here? wezy is playing as Mexico, and KINGofOsmane is going as the British. So we got a British fighting the Mexicans. Now, this one could go pretty interesting, I think. Obviously, British are always going to be a very strong contender in 1 versus 1, because they get tons of extra villagers from these things called manor houses. You build a house, you get a free villager. See, that one just popped right out like that. And it's all really about balancing your greed to get as much vills out as possible, and preparing a substantial military. Usually in these matchups, the British will try to go towards Age 2 and try to compete with musketeers. And then as time goes on, they might add longbowmen, they might add hussars in, and just keep growing and growing like a big giant disease. Yeah. Mexico, on the other hand, they go for a very different variety of strategies. They might try to play the standard way, or they might try to do a revolution of some kind. Well, it looks like the Mexico did get a trading post, which tells me, they might be going for a revolution. Because with revolutions, you get a ton of really powerful cards, and thus you need a little bit more XP to make it time a lot better. So what a better way to do it than building a trading post, right? Yeah. So first card Mexico gets will be the Hacienda and 2 Villager card, otherwise known as Algondiga de Granditas. So you get a Hacienda and 2 Settlers. From what we've learned behavior-wise in this tournament, everyone tends to take their Hacienda and stick it snap dab in the middle of the map right around this spot. That way you can deliver your shipments closer to your enemy. It gives you a bit of map control that you could put potentially vills on this mine or hunts and essentially garrison them as needed over there. And another scam call, so go away, you bunch of Muppets. Leave us alone. Alright, so Hacienda is building right now, and what will the agent be? Macoacan. Oh, nice. Nice choice there. And British will be going up with the governor, right? Hello, governor. And goodbye, scam caller. But bye forever, if only. Okay, so going to governor. Governor is the best option for the Brits because it helps them establish a stronger forward base with their barracks, because they'll have a tower there providing a nice range attack, which is quite nice. Also, that 200 gold gives you a nice bit of starting coin to start a line of musketeers with. Because in the transition from Age 1 to 2 as Brits, first thing you're going to do, stick all your vills on wood. That way you can build as many manor houses as possible. And to boost it even further, typically, as you see here, Brits will get gang saw, which is the first wood chopping technology at the market. That way you can eke out as many manor houses as possible and thus get extra villagers, right? So far, the Brit is up 2 villagers with 2 manor houses, but they could pretty grow it. Well, let me put it this way. If the Brit can stay on wood longer, they can often get a quick free 7 to 9 vills sometimes. It's quite insane. And then obviously in Age 2, as they continue to fight, they're going to get more and more villagers as they build up more of those manor houses whenever they get that magic number of 135 wood to afford one. So yeah, it's quite good to be the British, you know. Whenever you get that magic number of 135 wood, build a manor house, get an extra villager. It's just so simple. It's as simple as that. It's elementary. Alright, so getting an outpost, it looks like. Picking up the gold. Gonna build the barracks first to maintain enough pressure and defense with musketeers. And then we'll ship in the 700 wood. Then we'll see what he does with that wood. Will he go for a stable as well? Will he get another barracks? And whatever he doesn't use for that sort of stuff will probably go into more manor houses for more extra vills. Right, so what is Mexico's plan? So Mexico has produced about 2 soldados. They're shipping in 700 coin. Right, they're shipping in 700 coin. So, what will they do exactly? Yeah, that's what we're trying to figure out here. I think the last time I've seen someone go with this state age up as Mexico, they did go for an all-in sort of soldado push of some kind. Question is, will they just start with soldados and then revolt into Central America, or what? Yeah, so a lot of crates here. We got the 700 wood. Going for Central America, right? Yep, Central America, I guessed it. There's a reason why you would train some soldados as Mexico before doing a Central America revolt, because there's actually a powerful card that Mexico gets with the Central America revolt. Gives you a number of soldados, and essentially gives you a free P-tard with every card you send after that point, including the card itself. It's actually this card right here called Santa Maria's Fire. Gives you 4 soldados. That alone is pretty good. Also gives you a free P-tard with the card. A nice siege trooper you can blow something up with, right? And for the rest of the game, every card after that will give you another P-tard that you can blow something up with. It's quite good. It's a lot of sieging power. Gives you a lot of control over your enemy, right? Just make sure that the P-tard does not get picked off by the British Musketeers, and you should be all set there. Alright, so we're looking at about 6 soldados right now. Pretty good number. Another one in queue right now. So, Mexico player is chugging along. And also remember, when you do a Central America revolt this Mexico, you get about 8 free villagers from that revolt. So, tons of economy. It's a really nice way to bump your settler numbers up to be more comparable to the Brits, who are already looking at how many free villagers they have. 3, 5, 7, 8. So, kind of gives you the similar economy to the Brits at this stage, since you're kind of on the same build count. Oh yeah, taking out the outpost first, good move. However, the Brits do get their longbowmen out. They shipped in about 6 longbowmen there, while queuing up more muskets. They will do a few hussars as well. Now, I don't think you need hussars right now as the Brits. You mostly just need to get musket longbow combination, because that's really going to be the main threat from a Central America revolt typically. Oh, but he's considering this card, the Infinite One Falconet card that the Central America revolt has. Yeah, this one is a pretty dangerous one. So what it does is it costs about 100 gold, pretty cheap price, in the shipping obviously since it's a card. Gives you a Falconet and a P-tard because you sent Santa Maria's Fire. So you're getting another siege trooper and a cannon. And with all the vills that you do have on the map, you just constantly churn out more and more soldados as your backbone unit. With the whopping 30, 36, 39 range attack, good anti-cav. So really, you're just stacking soldados constantly, so the falconets can do their job, and then the P-tards can find isolated targets to take a snipe at. Right now, I think the longbowman should be able to intervene here and get the P-tard. Yep, a good player can usually block those P-tards off, but they're still a pretty worrying thing for you. Okay, so the soldados do a pretty... Oh, they extend forward, but they forget that the hussars swooped around them. That's not good. Okay, so... Ooh, threw a settler in or two as well. Interesting. So, first thing you're going to want to do, probably kite away these hussars so they don't snare, and try to get out of there. Right? The Brit player is going to try to pursue you, though, because they really don't want to give you time to get another falconet, because that's just a bad disadvantage. So, Brits are going to push right now with the timing attack, so that they can catch this Mexico off guard and drain him of his army before the falconet arrives. Another batch of hussars by the Brit player to deal with that artillery. 4 soldados are arriving right now. Right, but the falconet has still not came yet, so it's really open season for the Brit player to take these heavy infantry out, so the falconet has like no protection at all. You might have to... Oh, no. See, that's what the Brit player was counting on. It was counting on him to spawn him up here, and there'd be no protection at all. Yeah, if it was me, I would have quickly set my military spawn back to my town center at home. But obviously, a lot going on. Probably didn't have time to do it. So that was a quick and easy win for the Brits. Just shows you the power of macro that the Brits really leverage. They get all this extra villager economy, and they just take advantage of it. Starting out with barracks, and then they gradually go barracks stable. And then at that point, it's really tough to come back from that as the opponent. no matter what you're doing as a strategy. So that was a very nice demonstration by KINGofOsmane there. Right, so now we're going to see their game number 2 now on Sagune. First time we're seeing a map other than Great Plains in this tournament, so that's going to make you feel pretty good, right? Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you feel pretty ecstatic to finally see some new geography. Absolutely, so yeah, that should be quite nice. Alright, so this is game number 2. Here we go, game number 2. Sagune. Classic favorite from Wars of Liberty fans around the world, because we always use this map in our tournaments as well, so it's good to see it here too. GGG out. Imagine if they just resigned right there and there, that'd be crazy. Alright, so KINGofOsmane is now playing as Spain, and wezy is now playing as the Hausa. Ooh, kind of an interesting combination there. Okay, so Hausa, first thing you're going to do, build a granary. Granary, free building. What things in life are free? Like nothing, but granaries are actually free, so that's good. What it does, lures in all these huntables to the granary, so you don't have to herd as much. Allows you to be a bit lazier on food economy than you normally get to be in this game. And it also boosts the nearby food gather rate too of your villagers when they're on the hunts in the herdables, which is great. And even helps you out in late game too with your farming rate, so that's quite good. So look at these villages with the little ring around them. That means that their food gather rate is increased, which is quite good. And this building also contains your hunting technologies and your farming technologies. So right around the time that Hausa sells off one of these cows at the livestock market to get some wood, they'll be able to get the very cheap village dogs tech. Doesn't cost any gold actually, just 50 wood, which is super cheap. Now the hunting rate will go up even more. It'll go from 0.92 to 0.97, which is quite good. It's a substantial number as you grow more and more vills on the food income, which is great. Yep. So we'll see what House ends up doing this game. And Spain has built their trading post in this spot. If you're not building a trading post as Spain, you're not playing Spain. You have to get a trading post as Spain. It's critical to their build. As you know, Spain gets cards a lot faster because of their civ bonus than most civs do. So the way you amplify that bounty really good is to get a trading post, so you get some really insane card timing. Spain will start out with 3 settlers, and then they follow it up with capitalism, which again right now. So because Spain can finagle in 2 cards in age 1, they get the 3 villagers first, so they're in line with everybody else macro-wise, and then they boost it up even further by getting a gold trickle, the capitalism. And this gives Spain a few options. They can either go naked fast fortress with this, which can be very powerful for Spain, or from what we've seen a lot in this tournament, the Spanish player can develop a barracks and go musketeers in age 2, because that gold trickle that they're getting now already prepares them by the time they reach the 2nd age to get a batch of musketeers on the ground and start pushing the opponent. And they can follow it up with pikeman shipments potentially, or just a rod shipment like this, which they can totally do. Or what we see a lot, they'll actually go for 700 wood and go double barracks musketeer, which is quite fascinating. Now, one thing you're going to notice on this map, there has to be counter water options. On Great Plains, there is no water besides those tiny little ponds, right? No navy. But on this map, Sagune, you got an expansive amount of water here with fish and whales. So you always got to have the option of counter water should your opponent go for a fish boom. And that's why you see the double caravel card here in age 2. So if your opponent decides to go for a fish boom, you can punish it with 2 caravels and force them to either defend it somehow with their dock, or obviously lose that entire economy and all the wood that went into it. Ouch. Same thing in age 3. You got the frigate here, which is an even more powerful ship to pressure your opponent's fishing economy with too, which is quite good. Alright, so governor for Spain, that's typically the age-up choice for Spain, kind of similar to the Brits we saw last game. Basically, it's great because it gives you some nice gold that can go into musketeers, could prepare you for a naked fast fortress, the possibilities are endless. And then obviously having an outpost too is always a good addition to your defense, whether you add it to your forward base or to your actual base. 700 gold coming in first. Also a church. So, I don't see a royal decree though. That's interesting. Yeah, because normally when I see a church coming up, that goes into royal decree. Yeah, and then they get the big batch of halberdiers out. Yeah, no, that's kind of surprising. 700 gold followed by 700 wood. If you ever see that card combination in that order for any civ, not just Spain, that means Naked Fast Fortress. Get the gold first so you can get the age up, and then send the 700 wood in for the infrastructure you need for your base. That's typically why you see that. Alright, so what House is going to do is, they got a university already, they're building up their fort, getting a war camp, they're getting a griot. Oh, nice. So griots are kind of an interesting soldier. They basically are a support unit that helps slow down the enemy's attack speed. So they have all sorts of funny instruments like horns and drums. Yeah, they just slow the enemy down and demoralize them. They're a pretty cool unit. I know Chorizo Zarate, back when he used to do a lot of Definitive Edition tournaments with us, he loved using griots. He used them to a great extent, actually, so it's kind of fun to see these guys again. So what did houses send? So they 3 villagers, House of Kingdom to get a university builder. They got 700 wood, okay. And he ended up aging up with the Akan. So he's got the Akan Acobias that he can train. These guys. They're a very strong musketeer. Mainly because they have 1 splash, 1 area of effect damage, which means if your enemy's soldiers are very close to each other, there's a good chance that the Akan can actually damage multiple units at the same time, which is really powerful. It's kind of like, almost like a grenadier, but a little bit nerfed, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it looks like the House of Opponent does go water. We'll go for a fish boom. They're already on about 3 fishing canoes right now, generating a ton of food. And now the House of Player will get Ganansi. Now, what Ganansi does is it essentially changes the way that your Akanacobias work. They no longer behave like native warriors, meaning they become a unit that will cost population space, but it means that you can train as many of them as you like now. You're not limited to just 12 of them. You could literally make your whole army of these if you want to, which is typically what the House of Player wants to do, you know? It is a little tempting to have a unit that doesn't cost population, but it's even better if you can have like 50 to 100 Akanacobias running your opponent down, which is quite good. Alright, so the Spain is in age 3 now. They went up with the Scout Politician to get 4 Hussars. They're queuing up rods. What will their first age 3 shipment be? They're going for big boy rod shipment of 9 rods. Queuing up skirmishers at the barracks. Typical move for Spain in age 3. They're moving pretty quickly. What other thing that they're doing, which is quite nice, they picked up the Cree native site, just like their opponent did. The Cree natives are a very good choice because they allow you to train a villager called the Cree Courier de Bois, the Cree CBD, and they have all the properties of the French unit. So faster gather rate, good range combat. They're a really good villager to just help you boom a little bit faster than you would on maps that don't have Cree natives on them, right? So it's very critical that you get your Cree native site when you play on Saguenay, so you can take advantage of those nice extra CBD villagers to your economy, right? Looks like the House opponent will age up to the Berbers. Very nice. So they got Akanacobias, and then they're going to get Berber camels too, which is quite good. So they're getting a lot of alliance units and a lot of emphasis on the anti-cav. Yeah. So what does Spain have right now? So they got a big mass of rods, 4 hussars, and then they already have a batch of skirms out. Now, oh wow, delivering the 2 falconets right at this forward outpost that they got from the governor. Also getting veteran on the roderos, the rods. So the Spain opponent is diversifying their military portfolio very quickly. Again, some anti-infantry, good anti-cavalry, some good mobility in their army, so they're preparing for all sorts of stuff. Now, what's really going to boost up the Hausa is their well-established fish boom up here that they got. Now, what's going to happen is, I believe, is once these Hussars figure out that there's a dock over here, they're essentially going to send their counter water card, probably the frigate in an AX3, to just mop up all those boats and strip Hausa that critical food source. It's probably going to be something that's going to occur. And so you got the Griot here supporting his army. The Echinocobias are utilizing their wonderful splash attack now. Look at that. Whoa. Ooh, look at that. The Berber camels connect with the falconets. This is great. These camels actually have multipliers against artillery, so they're very powerful against artillery units. They're also good against cav units. You should always consider Berber camels to be sort of like a melee dragoon, because they have counter heavy cavalry and counter artillery multipliers in melee. So basically a melee dragoon. Thus they were able to clean up the Hussars, and they were able to clean up the artillery rather fast. Alright, and now the outpost is being attacked. Spain will take advantage of its 20 range with the skirms and try to kite as much of these troops as possible, and maybe even deter them from staying there. Right, some reinforcing rods are arriving as well. More Echinocobias queuing up for the Hausa player there. Yep, these Hussars should be cleaned up rather quickly, right? Okay, so going for the secondary rod shipment there. A whopping 8 rods, and then going to ship in the big boy 5 Lancer shipment. This will be some very strong anti-infantry to fight the Roderos with, basically. Yeah, so that should be quite good.
¿Sí? ¿Quién me ordena? ¡Preparado! ¿Quién me ordena?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Wani umarni za ka bayar?
Alitel Hatamenik.
Aita dimbaranemen.
Umarni?
Me kake so?
Ina sauraro. Zan yi haɗin zango kai hari.
Cire.
Na sami rauni ba zai iya ci gaba ba.
What you saw right there was the power of the area of effect damage on these Echinocobias. They have that one splash, and by the time you reach Industrial Age, their range attack goes up by about 30, which is quite good. Quite powerful, actually. Yeah. What the Spain has been trying to do has been going a combination of Dragoon Skirmisher and trying to leverage their big mass of Roderos as sort of like a frontal sort of meat shield to run into the caveats. You notice that the House opponent did send in a nice shipment of the Kanori Guard. These are basically a mercenary Dragoon that the Hausa can ship in. They're quite good because, as you know, the Hausa are limited to a one-pop, very weak Dragoon unit. So if you want like a more traditional, very strong Dragoon soldier, you have to ship in the Kanori to get that. Looks like the fight has been very successful for the Hausa opponent. And yep, let's see what these Kanori Guard do. They're attacking the Dragoons there, very good. So, oh man, look at the good micro by the Spain player and getting rid of those Kanori Guards. Quite nice, actually. Yeah, very nice. And the Hausa also aged up with the Yoruba, which gives them access to the two native warriors that the Yoruba have. The Oyo Legionary, basically a Javelineer, and then their ESO cavalry. Basically this cavalry that loses HP over time like a Minuteman, and as it loses HP it starts to attack faster and faster with its rate of fire. So some very interesting troops there. Oh wow, look at that. Another batch of natives. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Sending native treaties in age 4. Granting them all sorts of troops. They got their Akanakobias, they got their Berber camels, they got all the Oyo units from the Yoruba, and then they get the Cree, because they're allied to the Cree. So getting an age 4 native treaties like that, very big for House. Gives you 5 different weight native warriors all at the same time, which is great. Just enough to hopefully hold off against all these skirms here. Yeah, look at the Explorer too. The Explorer's doing a good job meat shielding as well. Oh, absolutely. Look at that. Look at all the skirms he's losing. This is big. So what is Spain up to? We noticed that Spain did send the Marvelous Year a little while ago, which boosts up their economy significantly for about 365 seconds. 1 second for each year. Day of the year, basically, 365. So that has expired now. So now Spain is trying to keep up and gradually grow their economy. They are going to get the stagecoach now, so they are going to begin some resources from the trade route to catch up a little bit. Because it looks like this whole skirmisher-dragoon combination is not, like, outright winning. I mean, it's keeping it toe-to-toe, but it's not winning. So he's got to figure something out here. Oh, man, yep, he just lost a few skirms there for free because he was moving and didn't shoot back. All right, now he's pursuing with the skirms. Thankfully, these Kree trackers have a ton of HP, so they're very tanky. They can take a few shots from a skirm, which is quite good. Spain coming in with another 10 reinforcing skirmishes now. Your Hausa needs to think of a reinforcement fast, so they're going to get some more ESO riders to reinforce the position, and they're going to hunt them down now, which we see right here. So, yep, these are the ESO riders. Very scary troop as they lose their HP, that rate of attack. See the rate of attack going down? That means that it's actually attacking faster and faster as it gets weaker. So, very dangerous cavalry to send at your opponent, basically. Yep, very nice. Also made a few levied bowmen as well from the house there, using some influence to help defend the area, which is a pretty good idea as well. Alright, so, let's see what he's got now. What will the house do now to try to push ahead? Because it seems like what the problem is that now Spain's economy is so solid right now that they can actually keep up this skirmisher dragoon game. And they also use their counter water cards of the 2 caravels and the frigate in age 2 and 3 to wipe out the entire Hausa fishing economy, which is huge. Because they were really relying on that for their military. And that's why you're sort of seeing the Hausa players scramble a bit to come up with what they're going to get for military, because now they lost that huge food resource. And now the Hausa opponent is completely starved and will lose against Spain. So King of Osmane has won 2-0 against his opponent Wezy. So King of Osmane is the first victor that we have seen for this round of 64. Very, very nice.